Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join me as we explore Southwest's lost historical characters, stunning desert vistas, forgotten Native American history, or tales of lost gold mines. There's always something new to discover. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to Southwest Desert, where we explore the fascinating stories of the American Southwest. Today's episode takes us to Campo, California, a small settlement 50 miles east of San Diego, where two remarkable brothers made their mark on history through an extraordinary act of survival and determination. The year was 1875, and the Campo settlement sat nestled in a picturesque valley near the Mexican border. At a higher elevation than the surrounding areas, the settlement provided welcome relief from the scorching heat of the lower desert regions. A clear, cold creek wound its way through the land, its banks lined with towering sycamores and sturdy oaks. The native people had called this place Milkete, meaning wide, flat fields, and it was here that our story's protagonists, the Gaskill brothers, would make their stand against one of the most notorious gangs in California history. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest adventure. If you would like to help support my time and channel, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Relax and enjoy. The settlement itself was modest but vital to the region's development. A small hotel provided rest for weary travelers, while the general store and cantina served as the heart of the community. The blacksmith shop rang with the sound of hammers on anvils, and the post and telegraph office, established by the army, connected Campo to the outside world. Standing apart from these utilitarian structures was the Gaskill residence, a large and luxurious house that spoke to the brothers' success in their frontier enterprises. Silas Edward Gaskill, 46, and his younger brother, Lumen Humphrey Gaskill, 32, weren't your typical frontier businessmen. Their journey to California had taken them by ship via Panama, and they'd cut their teeth as miners and bear hunters in the northern part of the state. Silas, in particular, had gained quite a reputation, claiming to have killed an astounding 302 bears during his hunting days, a number that, while perhaps embellished, spoke to his prowess as a marksman and his comfort with danger. The brothers had built an impressive operation in Campo. Their enterprise sprawled across 900 acres where they ran cattle, raised hogs and sheep, and managed an impressive 400 beehives. But they weren't content with just ranching. They also operated the settlement's store, hotel, and forge. Their entrepreneurial spirit led them to experiment with various ventures, including an unsuccessful attempt at sugarcane farming and an ambitious project to build a steam engine for a mail contract. When the mail contract failed to materialize, they displayed their adaptability by converting the engine to power a sawmill instead. Both brothers had colorful backgrounds that spoke to the complex nature of frontier life. Lumen, the younger of the two, had previously made a name for himself as a healer in Petaluma. However, his past wasn't all about healing. He had killed a man in San Joaquin County and subsequently lived under an alias in San Jacinto. In 1868, he married Eliza Benson from Utah, and together they had 5 children, 2 sons and 3 daughters. Despite his checkered past, Lumen managed to build a respectable life in Campo, though his later years would see him embroiled in further controversy. Silas's personal life had its own share of drama. His first marriage in the 1870s was brief and ended quickly, but he found lasting love with Catherine from Boston, whom he married in 1881. Together they would help establish Campo as a center of commerce and civilization in the otherwise lawless borderlands. The historical context of their story is crucial to understanding the significance of their position in Campo. The nearby town of Tecate served as a headquarters for various outlaw gangs, including those connected to the infamous Vasquez and Murrieta. Campo itself was an important stop on the freight routes, with the Capron stagecoach line making twice-weekly stops. This regular traffic made the settlement both prosperous and vulnerable to those who would prey on travelers and merchants. But it was the events of December 4th, 1875, that would cement the Gaskill brothers' place in Western history. The day started like any other in Campo. Then, one of their friends, a French sheep herder, gave a dire warning of the attack. At around 10 a.m., a band of outlaws led by the notorious Cruz Lopez launched an attack on the settlement. Lopez was already a wanted man, having murdered a store clerk named Henry Leclerc and Don Antonio Sosa, a former Mexican governor. These killings had made him one of the most feared outlaws in the region, and his reputation preceded him wherever he went. His raiding party that day was substantial. 6 main attackers formed the core group, supported by 9 additional outlaws with wagons waiting nearby to carry away their expected plunder. They also had an inside man, Rafael Martinez, who was already in Campo when the attack began, likely gathering intelligence on the brothers' defenses and daily routines. The assault on the store was swift and brutal. Lumen took a bullet through the lung early in the fight, the kind of wound that would have ended most men's resistance. Silas was also wounded, but rather than surrender, the brothers fought back with a determination that would become legendary. They were joined by the French sheep herder, whose name has been lost to history, but whose courage would prove vital and ultimately fatal, as he would later die from his wounds in San Francisco. The battle was fierce, with bullets flying through the store and surrounding buildings. The brothers' experience as hunters and their familiarity with firearms proved invaluable. Despite their wounds, they maintained a steady defense, making each shot count. 4 of the bandits were killed in the firefight, and both Lopez and Martinez were captured, a remarkable outcome considering the odds against the defenders. Frontier justice was swift and merciless. Vigilantes, likely composed of local citizens who had long suffered from bandit raids, took matters into their own hands. Both Lopez and Martinez were hanged, though Lopez would ultimately die from complications of his wounds rather than the rope. The brothers' wounds were severe enough that Dr. Millard had to ride 75 miles to treat them, a journey that speaks to the isolation of frontier settlements and the determination of those who served them. The aftermath of the raid only added to the brothers' legend. They gained a reputation as men who cannot be killed with lead bullets, and their successful defense of Campo ensured that the settlement remained peaceful thereafter. Their stand against Lopez and his gang wasn't just about defending their property. It was about establishing the rule of law in a place where civilization was still taking root. But the story doesn't end there. Lumen's later years were marked by legal troubles that suggested the complexity of frontier life and the sometimes thin line between law-abiding citizen and outlaw. In 1885, he was arrested in Mexico in connection with the disappearance of Captain Jacob B. Hansen, though the full details of this incident remain murky. He was later convicted of cattle brand tampering, a serious offense in cattle country, though he was eventually released due to cost issues related to his imprisonment. Despite these legal troubles, Lumen's entrepreneurial spirit remained undiminished. He became involved in the Santa Clara gold strike, seeking one more fortune in the California gold fields. Finally, in 1901, he sold his Campo holdings and moved to San Diego, perhaps seeking a quieter life away from the frontier that had shaped him. Both brothers lived until 1914, remarkably long lives considering the dangers they had faced and the wounds they had suffered. They were buried in different locations, Lumen possibly in Waitsburg City Cemetery, Washington, and Silas in San Diego. This separation in death perhaps reflected the different paths their lives had taken in their later years, though their shared legend would forever connect them in the annals of California history. The Campo settlement itself stood as a testament to their impact on the region. What began as a simple collection of buildings, a small hotel, general store and cantina, blacksmith shop and post office, became a symbol of law and order in a lawless territory, thanks to two brothers who refused to back down when faced with overwhelming odds. Their story reminds us that the American West wasn't just about famous gunfighters and notorious outlaws. It was also about ordinary men and women who demonstrated extraordinary courage when circumstances demanded it. The Gaskill brothers may have arrived in California seeking their fortune like countless others, but they ended up leaving a legacy that would be remembered long after the frontier era had passed. The tale of the Campo Gaskill brothers remains a fascinating chapter in California's frontier history, combining elements of entrepreneurship, courage, and the complex nature of justice in the Old West. Their stand against Lopez and his gang marked a turning point in the region's history, helping to establish the rule of law and demonstrating that determined settlers could stand against the forces of chaos and criminality that often plague the borderlands. And that's our story for today on Southwest Desert. Join us next time for another extraordinary chapter from the American Southwest. Please enjoy my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.